Hey, I appreciate talking to you uh, as I'm getting ready to leave here for work. It's kind of like a blog. I guess they call it a vlog, which sounds too vampirish for me, so I would prefer to think of it as maybe some kind of a video diary. But just little reminders, on my journey. It's been a pretty rough almost year, but pretty rough 7-8 months. 22 years married to a woman I love, and 18 years of which were very good, with a couple of years that were pretty stagnant. And all of a sudden, though I wonder if things really ever do really happen all of a sudden, but she wants a divorce. And you say, well, people survive divorces all the time, Steve. Well, that's them, this is me, and you got to know the situation. So it just really threw me for a loop, as well as everybody that knew us. And I was looking for the devil to come in like a bear. So I would have been ready for that. But the devil came in like a snake, a serpent under the door, through a crack somewhere. And took advantage of technology and moved upon temptation without getting into details. So I just want to say that it has been a pretty rough 8 months adjusting, in the process of which I recommitted my life to Christ, which I kind of knew was coming, but I think I needed a big jolt in order for it to happen. Because so often the case, we're rich, we got everything we want. I had everything so much the way I wanted that I was bored with the way I had it. It was boring. It was just waiting to die kind of stuff, because I had everything I wanted. It's pretty crazy. And then I suddenly went to had nothing that I was used to, and then, I don't know, it was different. But in recommitting my life to Christ, whom I did know many years ago, and served faithfully, and knew the Father, but hated the bride. And you can't love the bridegroom and hate the bride. It just doesn't work that way. You can't serve the bridegroom and hate his bride, because if he knows you hate his bride, he's not going to want you around. I mean, the bride is part of the package, so to speak. So anyway, this recommitment to Christ, especially at my age, making it to 60 years old, is probably the single most absolutely epic peak of my life, in a good way. So I'm just throwing that out there for whoever may need to hear it, because you know why? And I'll tell you the absolute bottom line reason why. God has never left me. God has never forsaken me. In my entire life, even when I turned from Him, He was still there. He was still waiting. He was still loving. He was still caring. He was still forgiving. And that, my friends, is absolutely mind-boggling. Even when you think, even when you have people that love you and you love them, and you think that life is, you got it made in the shade, things are cool, everything's fine. Disaster can happen. Things can come on you. But God remains the same. God is consistent. You can count on God. You can trust His Spirit. You can rely on Jesus, because His deal is already done. He's just working it out in us. Okay, long enough. Thanks for listening.